Today, our speaker is a former NASA propulsion engineer, which is actual rocket scientist, and founder of High Altitude Strategies. An award-winning speaker, author, and presentation skills coach. She works with high performers to overcome the secret self-doubt of imposter syndrome so they can match their confidence to competence and have more influence. And she will be sharing Seek and Speak, a guide to finding your audience, perfecting your pitch.
Yes.
Maureen.
Thank you. Tell me, okay, so it's 4:20 now. What time do you need me to be done? I can't remember how much time you had allotted.
Right till the top of the hour, I believe. Yep.
Okay, great.
Or you can even go 10 minutes after that since we had 10 minutes.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Good to know. Now, I am curious, before I get started, what your background all is. That did not make English sense. What's your background? What's your experience with speaking on platforms outside of Toastmasters, making an impact in a world outside of Toastmasters, making money outside of Toastmasters? How I'm curious where you all are. So you can either open the microphone and just shout it out, put it in the chat, because this will help me to guide some of the conversation. I have a lot of content here. I always do. That's my downfall. So I want to tailor it and give you what will benefit you most.
Digital transformation and innovations.
Okay. And how about experience level? Have you done a lot of speaking outside of Toastmasters?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, so technologies, innovations, all kinds of things.
Okay, great.
AI, moving to that AI space.
Okay, great.
I also teach at university level.
Oh, very good. Super smart. How about you, Cindy?
My current experience, I'm a education facilitator with workplace education. So I teach empowerment to mostly First Nations people or adults who have been out of work for quite a while.
Okay.
So that's the paid side of it. But I've also done some life coaching seminars and workshops.
Okay.
Just thinking about expanding my horizons a little bit more.
Awesome. Great. Great. Let's see. Lizane?
Hi, how are you doing?
Great.
I'm new to paid speaking. I've not gotten any paid speaking yet. I do speak at my church. I'm a reverend at my church, so I do Bible study and do some speaking there, as well as I'm an adjunct faculty at the local college.
Okay. I got my start teaching junior high girls Sunday school class at my church. That's a tough audience, boy, I'm telling you. But I learned that if I could teach 13-year-olds, adults are a piece of cake. All right, let's see who else. Matt, how about you? What? Oh no, you already answered. Well, I could ask the two other accredited speakers here. I would like to know because I don't know much about your background.
I'll go first. I have been a professional speaker for 30 years, Toastmaster for about the same amount of time. I got my certified speaking professional designation in 2012.
Nice.
I only got to the finals once, but I've been there too. So when you were telling your story, Maureen, I'm going, boy, this is kind of familiar. We have a very similar story. And again, joined Toastmasters. I got into speaking because I was laid off, found a job and I hated it. Woke up one morning and said to my wife, "Can I quit my job and become one of these motivational speaker guys?" And she said yes. And here I am.
Yeah, good, good. How about you, Greg?
I started off as an entertainer, actually theater training in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s. Left and became a professional land surveyor for 20 odd years. Owned my own, well, in partnership with others, owned a business. Left that to go back into becoming a full-time magicianary. That's half missionary and half magician.
That's cool.
I had learned that magic was a wonderful way to grab an audience, to win an audience over, and to teach them fundamentals. It started with sharing the gospel, but it also moved on to many other things. And I did presentations in schools, anti-drug, anti-bullying. Boy, I was anti a lot of things. I was for profit though, so
Yeah.
so that's where I did most of my speaking until I joined the John Maxwell team.
Oh,
Once I
wow.
started with
Okay.
the John Maxwell team, I was in the first 1,000. So some people would
I'm
say
in
I'm a
the
founding
presence
member,
of Maxwell royalty. That is so cool.
and so that's where I got all the leadership, most of the leadership stuff that I teach when I'm doing leadership and personal development stuff. So
Okay,
that's me.
great. Thank you. Awesome. And then Patrick, I know you're off camera. I don't know if you joined before or after I asked the question. Now I can't find you. And he's still muted and off camera. Oh, there you are, unmuted.
Well, I was the MC for my work executive vision conference last year. That was my speaking experience besides
Okay.
Toastmasters.
Okay. But your goal as part of this club is to advance a little bit more to get your accredited speaker?
Well, I'm here as the division director. That's why I'm here.
Got it. Oh, very good. Okay, did I forget anybody? It's hard to tell when I'm just looking at little pictures up top. I think I got everybody.
Me. No.
Oh my gosh, Laura,
Laura.
I'm so sorry. You know what? Because you are off the screen to my right.
Oh, well,
I shouldn't be-
I was trying very hard not to hide. Uh, Maureen, I have been a Toastmaster for about 11 years, and it seemed like what I really wanted to do was to improve my speaking. And the next thing I knew, I was, I don't know, voluntold into leadership. And I just finished my district director year in my district, which is 39. And it's time for that second chapter. I spent many years as a software architect, and I'm ready to not do that anymore.
Yep, new
So
new
that's where I
beginning.
am. I am aspiring.
Good. That's great. We all aspire sometimes, maybe. Okay, so what this will be then will be, I think, great content for all of you. But there's so many different levels of experience and different backgrounds, as well as even different goals, really. I'm going to ask you to pick and choose what you see value in. As I go, I'll tell you this, my business model is there's a million different business models in the professional speaking world. Mine is one, it's traditionally fee-based keynote speaker. So I don't do training, I don't do emceeing, I don't do coaching, counseling, because sometimes it's the same. I don't do panels, I don't do training. I will do workshops based on my content, but my main source of revenue is that single fee based keynote that will either open or close a conference. And then I will do, like I said, a workshop that kind of is tied into the topic because I am not under any kind of illusion that my keynote, which is close to an hour, usually that's what I get hired for is about an hour time slot. I'm not under the illusion that I'm going to change anybody's life in 1 hour. I can change their trajectory and I can give them hope, but they really need to take that information and go deeper. So I have a whole back end of products and resources that help them go deeper. But my goal is to get my foot in the door with decision makers and check holders to get on those paid stages of conferences for associations and corporations. So my marketing is definitely channeled and isolated in that effort. So I hope though that there's still some great content. I know there is. There's going to be great content for all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. I think this one is the one I want. All right. Do you see a slide that says Seek and Speak? No?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, good. I thought I saw somebody shake a head. Now, this program is one I developed, and I did present it at an event called Game Changers, which is hosted by Darren LaCroix. He's a world champion of public speaking from 2001, one of my best friends. He lives here in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas. He asked me to put together a program that teaches his tribe, how do I get booked? So that's why this slide looks like this. But I've also modified it for the National Speakers Association, and I think I've delivered it at probably 3 or 4 other clubs, Toastmaster clubs. I'm also speaking at a district conference in the spring. And honestly, I can't remember the number because, everybody's getting changed again. And it's a 3-digit number. And I don't know what it is. I know the area. It's actually in Canada. I think it's in the Toronto area. So I think it was formerly District 62, 60, I don't remember, 64, 5, I don't remember. But it's in your world, it's in Canada. So I'll be presenting this to them. And here's why it's important. I don't know if you have been a person like this, but you see a great speaker, whether it's through your Toastmasters club, in your professional experience, at a church, out in the wild, out in the community, and or even if you are one of them, maybe somebody has said this to you. Either you've gone up to a great speaker or somebody has come up to you and said, wow, I want to do what you're doing. I have a great story to tell, and I want to tell the world my story. And the first question I always ask them, because people say that to me a lot. The first question I always ask is why? Why do you want to speak? We all do have a story. We all have a great story. We all have the journey of how we got to where we are, overcame obstacles, slayed the dragons, learned lessons. The story is not reason enough to get on a platform, especially in the paid speaking world. It's not just your story, but your story is the vehicle to get to where an organization wants to go. Your job is to give them a solution to their problem. Now, what's the problem? It could be a number of things. Somehow you have to figure out a problem and how your story and your lessons and your approach solves the problem. It can't just simply be to get up and tell your story. So I didn't know that when I got started. I really thought that motivational speakers just simply had to have a lot of fun stories, a great suit, and a big smile. I had those three, but I wasn't getting booked. No, I wasn't getting booked. I wasn't making money. I couldn't figure out how to make this work until actually I joined the National Speakers Association, and they're the ones that told me, you got to find your solution to a problem. But they also taught me many other things. So as I created this content, do keep in mind that some of it is mine, but a lot of it came as the collective brain power, I guess, from the zillions of other speakers and trainers and marketers and experts that I've been fortunate to glean information from. So the first question, other than after you ask them, why do you want to speak? What's the reason you want to speak? This is the question I want them to ask me. What do I need? What do I need to do? What do I need to do to get on stages? Well, here's a list, and you probably have seen many things that are similar lists like this. You have to have the right mindset. This is a weird business. It's a strange business. Trying to explain to my family what I do, they don't get it. They think, I don't know what they think, but they don't. It's like it's so unscripted and unchoreographed. But the mindset is first and foremost, it's not an easy business. It's a grand and glorious and profitable and fun and interesting and stimulating business, but it's first and foremost a business, and a business requires focus, intention, discipline, strategy, checklists, goals. It's a business, but you have to have the right mindset going into it, knowing that this is going to take some work. You need clarity on some specific things. You need clarity on your topic, the problem you solve. And I'm looking over to the side. I have two screens here. My slides are over here on the side. You are here on the front. Your topic, the problem you solve, as I just mentioned, the audience, your specific niched audience, your business model. Oops, I want to go backwards. Uh, go back. Okay, your business model. When I say your audience, the mistake I made in the beginning was, well, I'll speak to anybody. Well, that is not specific. When you are more specific, it makes your marketing so much easier. It's easier to search for them. It's easier to keyword your content for them. It's easier to speak their language in the presentation. If you say, I'm going to talk to everybody, somebody is going to be missing what you're saying. You may offend somebody because they don't use that word or that phrase, or they're in a competitive market from somebody else. I mean, it's just the more tightly niched in your audience and your topic you can be, it's just so much easier. And then your business model, like I said, I'm a fee-based keynote speaker, but you may be a trainer, you may be an MC, you may do some consulting and coaching. Different business models, find what works for you. There's no one right answer. The other thing too about structuring your business and finding these engagements is that there is no one right answer. And there's no one right process to make it all work. It's not step one, step two, step three. It's not like a recipe where things have to happen in the same order, the right order. But it is like a recipe in that you have to have all the ingredients at the end of the process. All the ingredients have to be in place. But it's up to you to decide at what point when these ingredients get added into the mix. You need to have what I'll call it a sellable process. And it's kind of an umbrella term for a process that clients can follow to get to your solution. In other words, it could be like 3 steps to greatness, or the 4 secrets to whatever. In my expertise, I'm considered an expert in overcoming imposter syndrome, which I'm curious, show of hands, do you know what imposter syndrome is? Greg is saying, yeah, now I know it and I am it. Yeah. Yeah. Imposter syndrome is that irrational self-doubt where smart people don't feel smart. And so they feel like professional frauds. And I don't mean like professional skilled frauds. I mean frauds in their profession. They feel like they don't deserve their success. So I'm considered an expert in that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. That did not come by accident. I did not get a degree in it. I just did a lot of hard work to earn the title. But the process that I have is called the Fraud-Free Framework. 5 strategies to overcome your imposter syndrome. So you have to have some kind of a packaged program, product, process, strategy, checklist, something that will drive your audience along a journey from where they are to where they want to be, and make it catchy, memorable, make it interesting, something that will be sticky. So that is huge. That was a game changer for me, total game changer. Because from there, then I could create graphics and little keywords and games and audience interaction. It just made it so easy to take the audience along a journey. Then you have to get results and testimonies. You have to prove to the audience that what you're going to teach them will work. And you get that with getting a lot of testimonials. Now, I have tons. I have tons of testimonies, and I'll get to that in a minute. I don't have a lot of video testimonials. That's probably not in my favor, but it's a strategic choice to do that. And it's worked fine for me. And again, there's so many different ways that you could do this business. Just choose the ones that work for you. Okay, so that's what you need. Then you also need marketing assets. So I'm going to do a quick checklist of the marketing assets that you'd need as a professional speaker. And again, I'm sure you've heard of these and many of you already have these, but this is always a good refresher as you talk to other people that may be aspiring to launch a speaking business. Of course, you need a website with a blog and a lead magnet. The lead magnet is that freebie that you give to people in exchange for their email address. You need professional headshot photographs as well as what's called branding or lifestyle photos. These are more you in your element. Could be sitting at a desk, out in the dance floor, fishing by the lake. Something that is a little bit more personal, but still professionally shot. It's not just an iPhone picture. You need a one sheet, which is a summary of your topic. This should be a digital asset, a PDF that is resident on your website that can be printed out. And it doesn't have to be one sheet. It can be two. I think mine is 3 or 4. I don't remember. Get it professionally done, or use Canva, which is a design tool. You would need to have presence on some video channel, whether it's Vimeo, Rumble, or YouTube, because you're a speaker and meeting planners want to see you speaking. They want to see your personality, your persona, your vibe on stage. They want to see how you interact with an audience. How do you keep their attention? How do you communicate your content? So having it on video is super important. You should have a demo video. I don't know why I put demo videos, plural. Well, I guess if you have more than one topic or more than one audience, you could. But have a dynamite, rock star, solid, eye-catching, wow video. Now, that's probably going to be the hardest thing for you to get, because in order to have a great video, you have to have great video content, which means you have to have time on stage. So it's in order to get on stage, you have to get the video, but in order to get the video, you have to get on stage. It's the whole chicken and egg thing. There are ways to make it happen if you don't have audiences. You can create a scene which looks like you're on stage in front of an audience. Beautiful stage, good camera lighting, great video, great audio. Deliver your content and have an editor work to make it look and appear as if, and sound as if it really is in front of a larger audience. I did that. My second demo video was exactly that. It got me booked. And then I did spend the extra big bucks to get a really nice demo video, which has paid for itself time and time and time again. It was a great investment. You'll need social media presence, obviously, posting on LinkedIn or wherever your people are. My people are on LinkedIn. And when I say my people, here's the thing. I was just talking about this. I don't remember where I was. Yesterday, I was talking to another, I don't remember. Oh, I was talking to a woman I met who does SEO, so search engine optimization, because I may hire her because I need to do some more SEO on my website. Trying to explain what the speaking business is. You have essentially two, I don't know if you want to call them stakeholders or interested parties. You've got the audience, right? So you want your content, your social media content to inspire the audience, give them a tidbit about your perspective, your content, your training, your whatever. But you also have to appeal to the decision maker of the event. And so you have to speak different language. They could, for example, imposter syndrome. My audience members come because they struggle with imposter syndrome. My meeting planners, my CEOs, my decision makers, they may struggle with imposter syndrome, but they're not bringing me in to solve theirs. They're bringing me in to solve the organization's. So I have to use different language. So whereas I would say to the audience, you can overcome your imposter syndrome and feel great about being great, to the decision maker, I can say, I can equip your leaders to lead people that struggle with imposter syndrome so that your organization can be more agile, more proactive, and more responsive. different languaging. So your social media content should target both. Tricky, not always easy to do. And then a Boars item. What's Boars, you say? Back of the room sale. I don't mean literally have a table in the back of the room, although you could, and sometimes I do. But this is your follow-on content. This is where you do the deeper dive. This is where you have your book, a video program, a master class, a mastermind, a training option, uh, a um, a paid member community. These are what they call the back end items that you can add either into a contract, mention in a keynote or in a training, and generate extra revenue. So that's pretty sweet. So I'm curious, of all of those things that I just said, what is it that you need to do? Which one of these are missing? And you can either call it out. I certainly don't want to call anybody out. But I'm curious, in your own mind, do a little inventory check. Which of these do you really need to work on? Now, I can't tell you what to do first. I can't tell you what to do first. I don't even remember what I did first. I think what I did first was probably I wrote a book. I had a back of the room sale. Oh no, actually I recorded an audio. This is going back, the CD audio program back in what year was it? 2008, 2010, I think. So I had my product before I had really good content. So those are the marketing assets that you'll need. Now, I would normally talk about who I am. I already talked about who I am. I will say, however, that my journey as a professional speaker, I flailed around a lot for quite a few years, partly by my own choice and my own personality and my lifestyle. I had at the time, when I was in the finals of 2009, my kids were young, probably about eight and six, maybe a little older. No, they were about 8 and 9, right? 8 and 9. And yeah, they're a year and a half apart. I was not a speaker at the time. I was a Sunday school teacher at a mega church. Uh, and I loved the contest journey, and it was actually another world champion, Mark Brown, who saw something in me that I didn't see. He said, you need to be on other platforms. You need to take your message, your presence to a larger audience. And I didn't know what that meant. So I flailed for a long time. And I did not want to be a road warrior because I had 2 little kids at home. And that was just my choice. So I did some local events in the Cleveland area, spoke for free. And truly, it wasn't until 2019 when my youngest graduated high school. Both kids now were out of the house, and I could focus 100% on building my business. And in 2019, I moved to Las Vegas in August, and we all know what happened in February and March of 2020 when speaking stopped. So the momentum that I built in just 5, 6 months, pedal to the metal, 100% focused on building my business, came to a screeching halt, and I was not having it. I thought, I'm done. This is stupid. I don't like this. So I quit speaking, did something else for a year, almost 2 years. And as COVID started to clear out of the way, my phone started to ring. And I was shocked because just in that 7-month time frame before COVID, I had started blogging regularly. I started putting my name out there, started researching to find decision makers and conferences that looked kind of interesting to me. I put the wheels in motion, had generated quite a bit of contacts in my my CRM, my customer resource, CRM, customer management system, whatever you call it, my contacts, so that when the meetings world started to open up again and they needed speakers, they found me. And they found me hard. I mean, I quit my other job. I was doing full-time retail sales, loved it, but was making a whole lot more money now that people were finding me. And I thought, if they're finding me and I'm doing nothing, what would happen if I actually started doing more work again? So that was in 2022. I started back to it, and 21, 22, 23, 24, and this is 25. Every year I've broken my revenue record. So the stuff I'm teaching, the stuff I'm doing works. It works if you do. I'll say that. So so that's a little bit of my journey. Let's get to the meat of it. And I hope I can cover this quickly. I know I've given you a lot of background. But I get booked. People ask me all the time, how do you get bookings? How do you get bookings? Where do I find the gigs? I find gigs, or how I get booked, not how I find them, but I get booked specifically 4 different ways. The first way is that clients find me. The second way is that bureaus book me. The third way is that I get a lot of audience referrals. And then the fourth way is that I find them. Now let's talk a little bit about how they find me. They find me using a matchmaker, and the matchmaker is called Google. Of course, you didn't know that matchmaker was a Google. That's really what Google is. It's a matchmaker. And they find me because they hunt for specific things that I have well SEO'd on my website. SEO'd meaning search engine optimization. And there's a new type of optimization. I think it's called CEO, chat engine search optimization. So now things are getting, or maybe it's AI EO, artificial intelligent engine optimization. Anyway, this is the way people find. They do a search. Imposter syndrome speaker. I own the space. The first 25 references all point back to me. So they find me. My topic is relevant and trendy and highly searched, which is great. And again, my website is working for me. I've got the right keywords. The images are labeled in a way that makes it easy to find. I'm creating content regularly. Google will index your website blog highly if it notices that you're keeping fresh content on it. And again, I have an awesome demo video too. I've written articles on LinkedIn. I've written a few books. I've written 5 books, not all of them about imposter syndrome. Doesn't matter. My name is out there on 3 others. 2 of them are about imposter syndrome. I'm pretty active on social media where my tribe is, mostly LinkedIn. And I've often been asked to be a podcast guest because I went out and searched for them. So it was very intentional. For a while, I did a lot of them. I haven't done it in a long time, but when you're a podcast guest, when you're quoted on somebody else's blog, when you make mention in a LinkedIn post and people click on your profile and then find your website, it creates what's called backlinks. And backlinks are powerful because it tells Google that not only are you cool, but other people think you're cool enough to come directly to your website. So it ranks you a little bit higher. And then, of course, the lead magnet on my homepage. Now, I'll show you what my lead magnet, how I present my lead magnet to my audience, because this has been another game changer for me. Let's see, do I have that? Is that let me see if that is my next slide. No, it's not my next slide. I'll hold that thought. But all this to say, when potential clients go on a hunt for imposter syndrome speaker, they land on my website, they like what they see, they fill out, I have a contact me form on my website, which sends me an email with their email, and I immediately jump on it and start a conversation. and figure out what they're looking for and go into the whole negotiating part. And I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm going to have you think about this on your own, but I'm going to ask you these questions. When I say, are you synonymous with your topic? What I mean is, are you known as the person who? I mean, I've been building my business and my credibility and my brand around imposter syndrome now for probably 7 or 8 years. Everybody in my circle of influence, whether they're speakers or not, they're people at church, they're people back in Cleveland, my circle of friends there. I do ballroom dance, my people in the dance community, my friends at the gym. When they hear about imposter syndrome, they send it to me because I'm known as the girl who focuses on imposter syndrome. That's the sweet spot. They may not know my name because Zappala, that's a tricky name, but they know me. Oh, yeah, that girl from NASA who does imposter syndrome. So, are you synonymous with your topic? And you get there by creating the content and having your website SEO'd, knowing where your audience is and reaching out to them, and then seeking out guest slots in a podcast, and then having the lead magnet on your website. So that's the first step. The second step, or the second way I get booked, is bureaus book me. Now, a lot of people would love to bypass all of the grunt work to try to find engagements and just find a bureau that'll book them completely and from the get-go. But that's not how it works. Bureaus won't book you until you don't need them. They won't come to you unless unless they've lost business to you, or you have a phenomenal following, or you're some kind of great celebrity. Yet, bureaus still book me. And it made me wonder, how do they find me? How do they find me? And I've come to the conclusion, I have no idea. I truly don't. It's a mystery to me. Maybe they did lose business to me from, what their clients decided to go with me instead of going with the bureau. Maybe they got my name from an audience member. Maybe they, I don't know, did their own Google search on imposter syndrome and they found me. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because every bureau booking I get is a gift. And yes, I have to pay a fee to get the booking. They take a percentage of my fee. I don't care because I did nothing to get the booking. And they're taking care of all the back end logistics, everything they take care of. I'll gladly give them 25, 30% of my fairly substantial fee to take care of all that work. But bureaus are only a small part of my business. I am represented, I'm listed on dozens of bureaus on their websites, and I've been booked probably most often by 3 different bureaus. And I love my bureau partners, but they're just gifts. The third way I get booked is through audience referrals. And I use a tool. Oh, how do you get them? You got to speak everywhere you can for free. We all have to start there. I put in my time at every Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions Club, networking meeting, basement church group. I put my time in there, and it was valuable time. Even though it was free, I got education for nothing. My audiences told me not just feedback about my skills as a speaker, but their questions told me what more they wanted to know. So it helped me fine tune my content. I learned what humor worked and didn't. I met people that were influential in organizations. I spoke at a Rotary Club outside of Cleveland in a little teeny tiny village called Richfield. Teeny tiny, like don't blink, you'll miss driving through it. I think there were 10 people at this, it was a Chamber of Commerce, not a Rotary. It was a Chamber of Commerce for this little itty bitty country town of Richfield, 12 people. And in that audience was an insurance executive with one of the largest medical insurance companies in Columbus for the name of the hospital system. It escapes me. Huge hospital system in Columbus. And through meeting her, she passed my name on to somebody who passed my name on to somebody, and it resulted in a tremendously profitable set of engagements in Columbus at this hospital. So little meetings can have big payoff, but you got to do them. Speak everywhere you can for free, and become an expert in your topic. Not the expert, an expert. There's room for a lot of experts. You need to put your spin on your topic to make you an expert. Be great on stage. It's not news. I always say get coached and join Toastmasters. Of course, I'm speaking to Toastmasters, so check. But yeah, hone your skills as a speaker. No better marketing than being great on stage. And then here's where I wanted to get to, and we're going to kind of may have time to go through the fourth one very briefly, but it is very deep and too much content. But this is really cool. I use something called Talkadot in my keynotes, which is a tool where I have a QR code on my slides. People scan the QR code. It takes them to a site where they give me feedback on my presentation and then answer a couple of questions that I created specifically for them. And then in exchange, I get their email address and they get my free content, which is a video series and a PDF. Now, the value of this, it's not just I need your email address and you get a freebie, because the questions I have in there or that are in there are questions, marketing questions like, who do you know that hires paid professional speakers? Does your organization hire speakers? Who is the person to contact? And can you put me in touch with them? And so it's a networking. It's a digital way of networking. And this has been magnificent for me, because in fact, I just had an event the other day in Chicago. There were probably about 100 people in the room. And I haven't gone through all of the feedback, but there were, I think, four people that responded 100%. We need to bring this person into this event, and here's the person you need to talk to. So Talkadot is great. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to put it up on the slide so you can kind of get a visual. And then I follow up with the feedback, ask friends. This is how I present my Talkadot. Early on in my talk, I say, I'm teaching 5 strategies, but I'm only going to tell you about 3 because I only have time for 3. You'll get all 5 if you hang around to the end because you're going to get a bonus. And then I put this up, which is the QR code that they scan. And this comes later. This comes towards the end of my presentation where I've delivered all the content. I talk about something called your dot, which that's why I chose it as the keyword for this. They scan the QR code, enter the word dot, fill out the form, and then there's that transfer of information. I get their email address, they get the freebie, and in the survey that comes to me, I get feedback as well as contact information for potential clients. This is gold. I wanted to throw that up to you. I don't want your email address. I don't want your email. I don't want to add you to my list. Unless you want to be on my list, that's fine. But I wanted you to see what this looks like because it's hard to explain. Okay. So that's 3 ways I get booked. The 4th way is I find them. Now, here's where I'm going to actually, I'm going to summarize it and then I'm going to stop, because if I start going down the rabbit hole of the details, you're going to get lost, you're going to get overwhelmed, and you're going to tune out. Maybe you already have, I don't know. But I love this part of my business. I find most of my engagements. Those first 3, they find me, bureaus book me, I get audience referrals. It's a good chunk of it. Well, actually, now it's become most of my engagements come because they find me. But the second biggest is that I find them, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of research. But I look at it like a love story. I'm single. would love to get married. When I go out and about, I'm scanning the environment, I'm checking out the guys. Sorry. Full disclosure, I'm checking out the guys. I'm kind of deciding who do I want to flirt with? Who do I want to kind of drop the hanky with and kind of show my best stuff. Then I want to date. I want to see who's going to ask me out on a date. Let's get to know each other better. And then, oh, look, I'm looking for a proposal. He's going to propose to me at some point, and I'm going to commit, and we're going to get married, and we're going to live a great life, and then we're going to reproduce. Well, not at my age. I'm well past that, but I've heard this is the process. Finding the engagements is exactly the same way. It's exactly the same steps with a twist. You scan when I say scan, I am doing a digital investigation on the web. I'm trying to find events that I think I like, events that I would like to speak at, in the space in the association markets that I think would benefit from me. My background as a rocket scientist with NASA, I tend to speak to a lot of STEM audiences. So I'll speak to a lot of information technology, a lot of medical communities, a lot of engineering firms, a lot of manufacturing firms, a lot of insurance and financial planning, financial services industries, banking industries. So I'll target them. I'll scan them and think, oh, I think that would be a good fit. That would be a good fit. That would be a good fit. And I make a list of them and I put them in a spreadsheet. And then I'll go back to that spreadsheet and do a deeper dive. I try to find the point of contact, the point of contact for the event or the association, and I start to flirt with them. When I say flirt, I start dripping content to them. I serve them with information. Oh, here's an article I wrote. Oh, I found this web page that might be of interest to you. Oh, here's an interesting statistic. So I drip content to them maybe once every week and a half or 2 weeks. And then I ask, hey, do you have an event coming up where I might be a good fit? Because in that dripping of content, I've established top of mind familiarity. I really want to have a relationship with them. I want to date them more, but they haven't asked me yet for the date. The date is when they respond with, hey, yes, let's have a conversation. Woo! So then I have a conversation with them. We have a date. It's what I call my discovery call. I usually host it on Zoom, and I want to get a feel for them. What are they looking for? What kind of event they're looking at? How can what problems have they had related to imposter syndrome? And I present how I can solve their problem. And in that conversation, in that dating conversation, I will tell them my fee. And then I shut up. My fee's high. Sometimes they're like, oh, okay, that's good. And sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, that's out. So I have to be ready to negotiate. So the date is the discovery call. And then after the discovery call, and I usually have a feel during the discovery call whether this is a yes or a no, but either way, I'll send them a proposal. And my proposal is a work of art. I'm not kidding. It's not just a document of, this is what I'm going to come do, and this is what it's going to cost you. It is beautiful. I use a Canva. I just picked out a Canva theme on Canva, and I used their colors, the client, their colors, their logo, their wording, their pictures, their vision and mission and goals and all that stuff. I pull it from their website. It looks like their item. You don't find much of me on there, but I just put it as a proposal. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It does not get deleted in an email. It gets sent on. And I have about a 90% acceptance rate with my proposals. But the thing is, I never sent a proposal before I had the conversation. So the proposal comes after the date. And then the yes, Maureen, we want to hire you. We're married, woohoo! I send the contract and the invoice, and then we reproduce. And when I say reproduce, I mean it in a very, not in the, you know what I'm talking about. It's a very symbolic way. They may become a repeat client, but most definitely their audience, that their team, their client, their customers, I'm sorry, their employees have now become my evangelists. So they are out putting the word out for me. This is a beautiful process. So, but it is just a love story. So okay, so that puts us at 10 after 5. I know we did start late and you said I could go a little late, so I don't want to overstay my welcome. I'm going to stop my share. And I know that was a lot of information. I have 10 more slides that I could have gone through. That would just blow your ever-loving brains, but I don't want to do that on a Monday night. So I'm curious if you had questions or comments or
Yes, can you send me a proposal?
Well, here's what I will do. Can't send you a proposal, but let me, because somewhere in here.
While you're looking for that, I want to say thank you so much for this presentation. It definitely helped me a lot.
Good.
And I appreciate the fact that you shared the length of time that it took to get to the professional level, because sometimes people think it's like a snap and a walk in the park, but putting in time and commitment is important.
It really 100%. It's more work than you think it is, but persistence and consistency is the key. All right, I want to show you just this very quick slide I have of what the cover sheet of my proposals look like. Now, this is not just one cover sheet. I put in a montage of several so that you can kind of see what I mean about how, let's see here. All righty. Do you see that?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Wow, is right. It's beautiful. And this is
Holy
just the
crow.
cover. This is just the cover because the inside parts, it's my proposals, they're 9 pages long. People are like, nobody's gonna read a 9-page document. Well, they don't have to
Oh,
because
yes,
there's a
they
lot
will.
of pictures and graphics and pretty things. So yeah.
With a cover
Like,
like that, they're going to open it and look at every page because the eye
Uh,
candy is right there, right?
And they're looking, and the pictures that I took, I
It's them.
grab off of their social media. So they're all looking for themselves in this document.
Yeah.
They're studying every group picture, every so
well, if there's anything I'm going to steal, that's an idea I'm going to steal. My proposals are 4 or 5 pages now, and I do try to get their logo onto it and their uh, motto, their
yeah.
whatever they're for. I get that on there, and then the actual event and what they're doing, but nothing to that extent. That's something.
I
Anyway,
learned that from Crystal Washington. Do you know Crystal Washington in NSA?
No.
no.
Yeah, she taught a session at one of the NSA conferences about proposals, and this was her thing. I'm like, I'm taking, if I want to do that, I can do that.
I'm taking away Talkadot. I had never heard of that. And I find that, wow. What a great way to engage. What a great way to mine that key email address and permission to email. I love that idea. So that's my big takeaway. So I'm going to investigate that because I think that that would be very helpful for me.
You'll be amazed. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd never heard of it. So, wow. 30 years in the business, you learn from people who have been in the
It's
business for 30
relatively
years.
new.
So thank you.
It's relatively new. I think it's only been around for 2 or 3 years, but I'm telling you, if you're plugged into the Canadian speakers, folks, uh, and people in NSA are wild about it. It like took off like wildfire.
Yeah, I'm plugged into to CAPS, which is the Canadian equivalent of
Right,
NSA, and I haven't heard anybody talking about this.
I'm so surprised. Well, you are going to be the evangelist of Talkadot to CAPS.
I will. Once I got it figured out, and yeah.
They make it easy. The onboarding is super easy. They've got lots of workshops and videos, and Errol, who runs it, Errol Moody, is amazing. He's really good.
So the key too is they've made it easy to do business with them. That's always the key.
And they also have this really cool feature they just launched where you can create a profile on Talkadot that is marketed to the IASB, the International Association of Speaker Bureaus. So speaker bureaus now can go to one place to get customers, customer feedback, client testimonials, what you're talking about, it's sweet.
This very valuable. Thank you.
I hope it was good. I hope it was what you were looking for. And so good.
Does anybody else have any questions for Maureen?
I have a final comment. It's my final slide, but I won't pull it up. I know it's overwhelming, 100% overwhelming. There's a lot of content, and like I said, I didn't even get to most of it. I have a dear friend of mine who is a CSP Hall of Fame speaker, Mike Rayburn, who is a keynote speaker slash entertainer. He plays his guitar. He's just hilarious, and he's well known. And I presented this to him, and he doesn't do his own bookings. He has a bureau and an agent. But his comment was, and I was like, "That's perfect. Can I use that?" He said, "Wow, Maureen, research. When it comes to research, I'm a really good guitar player." And I say that because I know it's overwhelming, but you can get help doing the research if you need to, because a big part of what I do is research, trying to find those meetings, the contact person, where the event is. Is this a good fit for me? Do they fit my budget? Do I fit their budget? So
Well, I just want to thank you, Maureen. You gave us a lot of really good information, and I've been out of the game for a little while and just thinking about jumping back in. You've inspired me to take some action steps. Thank you so
good.
much.
You're welcome. I'm glad.
Nothing else? Then we will thank you once again from the bottom of our hearts for sharing this, and thank you for allowing it to be recorded so that it is something that our members can use. We only meet once a month, but it is an intense learning time. And then 2 weeks after that, there are mastermind groups. There's 2 of them, I believe, mastermind groups, and they will talk about. Normally, they'll talk about what is they've learned in the last session, and
That's great. I've always been in at least one mastermind group, and they have changed my business. So that's great that you guys do that.
Yeah,
So
it's important that we have a chance to absorb what we learned, but now how can we put this into practical use in our business or as we're developing our business? So we really engage everyone in the mastermind groups.
Yep. So that is we're just at break time now. And Maureen, you're free to go have supper or whatever if you like.
Yeah,
We
I
are
do have to
going
get going.
Hmm?
I said I do have to get going, but thank you for
Yes.
inviting
All right.
me.
Thank you so much, Maureen. It was
Yep.
it was great.
Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We will be